Welcome to This Is Only Your Life. That's sarcastic, meaning it's only your life, no big deal. Overcoming the bullshit to open your heart and mind with Janice Corsano. In this episode,
am I going to pay for that thing? Oh, well, see, that's interesting. That'll happen somehow. But it always does. It's just, well, where's how?
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So you might need to look at the part where, because remember, everything's 4 issues now that's coming up that's in our face. So you might need to look at the fact that, because you'll say it a lot on here, like when we're talking about, like, you know, because you have your right and left side over there that your body's, you know, trying to separate out physically.
My body's literally, actually tearing itself apart at the moment.
Yeah, it's like your right and left side are in a battle like everyone else is. I
currently have a right leg that is trying to detach itself from my body.
Well, that's what it feels like. Hopefully it's not actually trying to.
It is trying. It's trying to leave. My hip feels like my hip socket is burning and not working the right way, and it keeps wanting to.
You might want to have a talk with your hip socket. You know, like you do a little meditation and have a talk and ask it what's it trying to do, what's it there for.
I don't know. But
no, I'm saying to have one.
Yeah.
I know you don't know, but I'll find out. A lot of times when I'm having pains like that, I'll have a little, you know, meditation talk with them. And be like, okay, so what is this for? What are you trying to help me with? Because if we say everything is there to try to help us with something, right, try to, you know, learn something from, then what is it trying to help us with? Hey, Halls.
Hello.
Again, how long's it been again? Apparently we're screwing up our schedule with the crazy in the world.
Yeah, it had been like almost a month or something?
No, I don't know. 2 weeks maybe? Well, because the last one, it took me a little while to get up, so to actually edit it and get it up. So probably maybe 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
We're supposed to be weekly. I think we're totally off track here. Better do a better job at that. But, you know, at this point, we're doing the best we can, so that's the part that counts. And I think that's important for everybody to know. Like, you do the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as much as we'd love to have the podcast once a week, if we can't do once a week, every other week is better than no weeks.
It's true.
So, you know, when we talk about we were talking about it before, right before we started, the being tired. And I don't know about most people, but the sleeping is way off. How's your sleeping? I mean, mine is ridiculous. And I hear it from, I'm hearing that again from, you know, it's so funny. Like, what I'll experience, then I'll hear it from other people. It's like, I can't sleep. Or the amount of sleeping that I'm doing is like only a couple hours. Or I'm not getting, you know, hardly any sleep. I just fall over during the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the energy is so intense. Or I'm feeling like I'm so exhausted all day long, no matter what I do. And some people are sleeping. You know, some people are sleeping, but they're also still feeling exhausted regardless of how much sleep they're getting.
Yeah. I mean, mine's like hit or miss, because I can fall asleep sometimes. Like, when I am tired and I fall asleep, then I'm okay. But if sometimes I'm, like, wired, and I'm like, why am I awake still? Like, I worked all day. What's going on?
Yeah, no, it's strange as the difference of what would normally be happening. Because normally I'd be so exhausted because, you know, we work a lot. And at the end of the day, you know, you take a little time, do your downtime stuff that you need to do. I do my meditation and stuff and get relaxed. And normally then I just fall right asleep.
Right.
But now it's like you're in that relaxed zone and you're like wide awake.
Right.
And there'll be times when I'm like, okay, now it's 2 and I'm still awake.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could fall asleep and it'll be 3:50 or 4 o'clock and I'm wide awake again. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, it's a little hard to function on 2 hours.
Right, I call that a night nap.
That's a night nap. That's a little nappy. That's a little nappy.
Yeah, the other thing that's been happening to me is I'll get, like, very tired and my body just shuts off. So it'll be, like, maybe, like, 11, or normally I'm not tired around 11 normally, right? And I'll be getting ready to, like, do my, like, wind down thing, and then my brain's just, and you're sleeping now.
So would you just fall over?
Yeah.
In a pile somewhere?
Yeah. I know, I just get, like, I don't know, my brain turns off and it just doesn't think well, and I can't.
Do you like
can't.
go to sleep right then? Or are you still doing what you're doing?
I'm still trying to do what I'm doing because I'm not done.
Right. I was gonna say you're not done doing your. It's like you missed that window and you're screwed. You know, like in that window where you could fall asleep right that second. It's so funny because that normally would be, you get overtired and then you wake back up, but you could still fall asleep. It might take you a little bit longer, but you'd still fall asleep. Not hours longer, and then you don't nap and wake up. So, if any of you are experiencing that out there, apparently it's more common than you know. More people are having it, and you were telling me about the pain level, because I know I've been hearing that a lot, and we're seeing so many things, and I know we talked about this all the time now, and we're talking about it a lot because each time we do a podcast, these things are continuing, and people need to know it's not just a one-time thing. This is going to continue for a while, and this, it started in 2012. I mean, it started before 2012, but where it really upped itself was in 2012 when we talk about the change that really, started kicking in. And now we're in, like, when we talk about, like, really in it, we're really in it. And it feels so weird. We don't even feel like we're on the same planet. Right. And all the things that are happening, you're like, so it's really important. One of the things that's really important is because a lot of times I'll feel like I'm floating in space somewhere.
I always feel like that now. I feel clouded. Like my brain feels like I'm in like a dreamland.
It's like one of those things where you're like, what the? Really, phone?
And then her cell phone's ringing. Yeah. See, everyone needs us, I guess. Mine's going off for hair stuff.
What was I even saying before I was trying to figure out? Oh yeah,
2012. Us being in a cloud.
You lose your thoughts. You can't figure out words. You don't even know where you were. Yeah, those are all common things now, and people keep telling me, "What the hell's wrong with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's called this change we're going through. That's what the hell's wrong with you." And then we're getting all kinds of things because we're all off balance. Like I'm seeing people's hormones off balance, and there's a lot of hormonal issues because that is like our basis. Like they're basis things. So it's like core stuff. So it's like, your hormones are core. Same with thyroid issues, like all core things. And then we're seeing a lot of people popping up with cancers. And I know we talked about this before, but it's coming out even more and more. And it's like, what the hell is going on? And it's part of it is, for us to, last place our emotional work comes out is in our physical body.
Right.
And as we go through these changes and we're trying to become more light bodies and learn what we're here to learn and to get on the path of a higher vibration in love, right now it doesn't feel very loving. No. It feels really rough. It's like a shit show every time you go.
I know.
I'm like, holy
Oh, see, like the phone.
It just don't stop today with this between the cell phone, the phone, your phone. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And normally I leave my phone somewhere else, so I didn't even know that it was in here, my cell phone. But whatever. Whatever. That's what I mean. You could find, like, it's funny because you'll put stuff down, you can't find them.
I never lose things ever usually, and I actually keep losing things, like things that are kind of important that I've had for like many years, and they're missing now.
And they're gone.
And it's actually kind of sad because they're things that I really like. So
we're gonna hope that they show up because a lot of the things actually show back up.
Yeah.
They just show back up weird.
Well, it's weird though because I pretty much always wear this one particular necklace.
Oh yeah, the one that you were talking about the other time.
I'm always very mindful of it. And it disappeared. It just disappeared. Like, I do not know what happened to it. And I had a pair of sunglasses that I would wear all the time. They're like these nice Dior ones. And they disappeared.
Are you throwing out names?
Huh?
Are you throwing out names?
Oh, that's called name dropping. But I'm just talking about, it's just like it's frustrating that it's expensive and they're gone now. Someone's probably sat on them.
It was funny. They're nice Dior ones. I'm like,
yeah,
whatever that means. Like,
I get the
name, but it's just funny.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're nice sunglasses. And so, when's the last time you saw those puppies?
When I helped our friend move in New York.
So,
That was the last time I saw them. That was the last time I had them.
So maybe they're there.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, the things are just disappearing left and right. So when we talk about like pay attention, like awareness is really something that we really need to be aware of. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that we're so foggy that it's hard to be aware. You're like,
Right.
be aware. I'm too foggy to be aware.
Right. I didn't know that they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice them walk away. And then I went looking
And you didn't know
them.
they have feet now.
Right, and I didn't, and I went to go look for both of those things that I lost to put them on, like, the next day, and I was like, where's this thing?
This thing now has gone. It's disappeared. It's got feet, and they walked away.
Mm-hmm.
They could be, vanished into a different dimension. A lot of shit's doing that, and I'll find it in the same place that I know that it was there. I know it's there. I can't find it. It's my keys. It happens with my keys a lot. I'm like, I put my keys in the same place all the time.
Right.
So I'm running around looking for my keys. I have to get somewhere so I can get back, and I can't find my keys. They're totally gone. I'm like, my keys are right here. Did I move them? So then I'm standing there, like, thinking, well, where would I put them? Could I have left them downstairs? Could I put them over here? Let me look here. Let me look at my purse. And then I run around the house for a while, and then I come back, and guess where they are? Right where I usually put them. But they weren't there. And I'm like, okay, cut that shit out now.
Right.
But when it comes to those other things, there's a few things that I've lost like that, where I'm like, I know they were here. I'm not sure exactly. Like, I know I saw it, or I know I used it, and then it disappeared. But a lot of those things have popped back in, and they come out of weird places. Like, I might have left them at somebody's house, not realizing, that I left them there or whatever. But, so hopefully yours things pop back in sometime soon.
That would be good.
That would be nice. So in the things that we talk about awareness, one of the things with the fogginess is making sure that you're grounded. And grounding, like I think I said it on the end of the last podcast, is make sure that you're grounded. So the grounding exercise, and we're going to do it again, is making sure that you take it looks like a cord, and you ground from your root deep into the earth. So you just imagine the cord. First, protect yourself with white light, love, and protection. Just imagine the cord going from your root chakra deep into the earth. And while it's doing that, let all of the negative energy drain out you. That's kind of the point. Like it's a cord that energy can go through and drain and keep you grounded to the earth. So just imagine yourself. Let's just go through it. And just imagine yourself doing that, making the cord, and just let all the negative energy out. Take a breath. And then once you do that, and you do that for a little bit, make sure that you bring in healing white light, because you want to replace all the negative energy that went out with something. So you want to replace it with a white light would be great. You could actually even put like right through your chakras, you could put like a pillar of light, and the pillar of light shines out from inside you and shines out so that it makes it harder for, that's why we put the protection around us. That's why we, always do like the energy lights going through you, like running energy through you. Well, the pillar is a similar type of thing, but if people have an easier time imagining like a pillar or something that's, straight going through them, that's a light, then that's radiating out so that it's harder for things to come in.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine the light, right? So then once you get yourself grounded, you have your light going through the middle of you and radiating out, then it's harder for things to actually, more negative things to come in. But if you don't replace it with something, then you're just leaving yourself open for more of the lower negative stuff. And boy, those little gremlins are really at work, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how much...
Can't have that. Wait, can we talk for a second about why Disney feels so nice?
I love Disney.
Because I was just at Disney last week, and...
That's the difference. That's what we talked about when we were talking about the company that you were working at.
Oh, Facebook.
Yeah, whatever. I think it's Facebook. Disney's one of those places where most of the time when you go in there, it feels very happy because people's energies are very happy. Like they're happy to be there. They're excited. And there's a lot of children there. And children usually have, very nice, more pure, happy energy.
Yeah.
They tend to be able to run the energy through them better.
Right, because they're running around playing so much that it's like shaking.
It's like shaking. That's one of the reasons why kids run.
Yeah.
You'd see them running around in circles. He'll go, sit down, would you cut that out? It's like, well, no, let him run it off. It's like, it's a way for them to get the energy flowing.
That's probably why I like need to go to the gym and yoga and stuff too.
Yeah, no, you have to be mindful of, making your energy flow and your chakra balancing. Like the chakra cleansing and balancing exercise is also really important. Our chakras are, everything's off. So you want to balance everything as much as you can. You want to do the work that you can. And the thing that's really important right now is taking care of yourself. Because our stress level is so high, and that's part of the reason why all of our things are off. We don't even realize how high the stress level is. Mm-hmm. I know I say this a lot, but you don't realize it because we're so used to it now. It's like so common. And, we're going to be taken out. We're getting things done so that we have to rest or, take care of ourselves or do something. Mm-hmm. And, one of the things about being sick is that it makes you look at yourself and take care of yourself a little bit more than you would be before. And that's the thing that you'll see, when you're talking about Disney, a lot of times you'll take a vacation and you've been working, you get ready to go on your vacation, or you're going to have a few days off and you get sick right then.
Right.
And you get sick because your body knows it's off. Because you basically said, oh, I'm off now. Mm-hmm. And your body went, okay, now we can shut down. And all the shit from all the stress and running and overworked and whatever, now we're going to, okay, now you're getting something.
Well, I was just thinking about this. This is an interesting thing, too, is, so I still I didn't physically do the amount of work that I was, would be doing because I was, in a different state. But I still did some work, and I also did my regular amount of, emails and, weddings, blocking, scheduling stuff. I still did all of the things that I would be doing when I was home. I was just less stressed because I was somewhere else. I don't know why I can't maintain I don't know, it's there's something, it's being able to look forward to, doing a thing helps you get through your day a little better.
Yeah, but I also think that when we talked about this, and you have to block in something for you to do, that's the thing where you said, well, I haven't been doing my exercise or been going to the gym or doing the things that, it's that would be something that you put in your schedule that's a for you thing, that you enjoy, that makes you feel good, that you look forward to. That's the part where you're missing it when you're at home, because then you'll start doing something else, or time will fly, or,
True. I've been meaning, so today I'm going to take a pole class,
mm-hmm.
and I have not been to that studio for dance of any kind in, 6 months.
Right.
At least.
And that's a long time. You used to go all the time.
I used to go twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes 3 times a week. I was there all the time.
And I want to do the fly gym.
Yeah, it's really good.
But they don't have one yet at a time that I could do it.
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure if they have it yet. Or they're working on Aerial.
It's Aerial.
Which is really fun, having tried it one day.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah, it's nice.
But those are the types of things, you need to find things, when we say, that nurture yourself, that you're excited about. And whether they're, whether they're dance class, whether they're, bike riding, whether they're art class, whether they're a language, something that makes you feel good and feel better about yourself, and that's relaxing to you, that you feel like you could socialize. And it could just be, going out with your friends and, getting to spend some time with people that you really care about. But that needs to go in your schedule. And taking care of yourself needs to be first on the list. We don't want to get sick. We don't have the time or energy for sick.
Right.
But we'll have it. They'll make sure you have it because you'll have no other choice. But why don't we make the choice to do something to take care of ourselves and really work on the stress stuff? Because I keep having to say it to everyone. I'm like, guys, you don't realize. Because I'm seeing so many people that are getting sick. And if they're not sick, they're, will be depressed. We're so overwhelmed that the level of our imbalance, we're in extremes. So everything's an extreme, one thing, one on the other side. And we're trying to get to a balance. But we're not balanced. So the extremes that we're seeing all over the place is the things that make you feel like crap. It's it's extreme. It could be extremely, uncomfortable, and then you'll feel okay, and then you'll feel like, oh, actually, this feels good. It's like going to Disney, mm-hmm. It's that felt really nice. What was your experience? Because that's a great one for the extremes.
Right.
Walking into Disney, because you actually feel the same thing I feel when I go into Disney.
Right.
That happy, look forward to, I go into Disney and I walk in, and I'm like, I could live on Main Street.
Right. Yeah. No, it's light.
Because it's
and
light, it feels nice.
It's fun. Like, even though there's a lot of kids running around and it's loud and there's a lot of lines and stuff. And
That stuff,
but
the energy feels fine.
But for some reason, because everyone's excited to be there in general, it's like that is not.
And that's a great, because it doesn't bother you. Like, there's more patience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you have more patience.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mind the kids running around as much. Most people that go into Disney can feel the difference of the energy. They can feel that lighter energy. And even though it can be, when you have kids and you go to Disney, especially if they're little, it can be a long day.
Right.
So you can start to lose patience by the end of the day.
For them, they're like, I'm tired.
Right. But it's more like then you need to just spend less time in Disney. But the feeling itself of being there is that's such a lighter feeling. But then when you're outside, you could just be outside the gate and it be in the parking lot.
Right.
And it feel different.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's the difference? But when you get inside, there's something that feels different. And I don't know, most people, it's like going on vacation. Remember I was saying, if I go on vacation, if I don't go to a vacation spot, remember when we went to Florida, I don't know, 7 years ago, we were working on the book. I was working on the book.
Yeah.
And the first place that we ended up staying was not a vacation spot, and we had to move.
Right.
Because it was, even though it was like renting a condo in a residential area.
Right.
And it was nice. It was right near the water. But it didn't feel like vacation. It felt stress still.
Right, because we were still in the regular hustle bustle of everyone's regular day.
Right, because we were still in, and then I'm like, all right, we're going to have to move because this isn't going to work. And then we moved down to what would be where people went on vacation. And everyone felt more relaxed and more comfortable. Mm-hmm. And then it was so much easier to feel like, oh, now you feel like you're on vacation.
Does this mean we should move to Hawaii?
Well, it could.
Because then...
Yeah, but once you live somewhere, once you live somewhere and you could see, you become, the resident and you have your things to do. But it's still, if you go to the places where, even in our area, if you go to a place where people go on vacation, there's an energy that's different than what you do in your normal day.
There's something that seems very appealing about just leaving for a year to go live somewhere else, very random, and to do something that is not what you do at all.
Do you know how much you hear that now?
Yeah.
People just want to do random shit like that. They're like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, they just want.
I just want to go off and just, I'm gonna go live in Ireland for next year.
Just do something. Just don't be yourself for 1 year. Just go and do a job that you would never do usually. I don't know. I will work at an ice cream shop scooping somewhere for 1 year in a different country.
Which sounds like fun.
That sounds fun.
But that's the problem. If we have to go to that extreme,
right?
Why aren't we doing stuff in our life that, how did we get there? That we are, and I don't think that it's bad that you.
Well, I don't even know why I think that. There's nothing wrong with what I do.
No, but what I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying. The way that we think about it versus
Right. It's
you think if you were in do you think that if you were in the other country for a year, right?
Right.
At
why
what
is
point?
It better? Yeah.
No. At what point do you think you'd be saying the same thing?
Right. Yeah.
Be like, well, I enjoy scooping ice cream until.
Right. I don't know. I don't understand what it is about. It's maybe it's the. It gets too much of a habit that you.
I think it's the the routine of something. But some people are really good. Everyone needs a routine to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, a routine gets very uncomfortable for.
Right. Yeah.
You're not a good routine person.
I'm not a good routine person.
You need a routine for certain things.
Right.
But you're better without having too much routine.
Yeah, too much routine, I feel trapped.
And that's why it's important. Some people need a routine so they don't feel so that they feel more safe. Right. Some people need partially, a part routine.
I like to fly by the seat of my pants. It's fun to not know how much money you're making ever. And it's like Monopoly in real life.
Yes, no, it's actually kind of funny.
Money's just the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm. For what? What are we scoring?
It's just grades. It's just it's in school. Money's just grades, adult grades.
I know, you said that before, so explain that a little bit more so that...
Because it's I don't know, I just look at it okay, grades are, it's funny, well, so my how I think about it is, you're in school when you're little, you're being told that these are the right answers, you memorize and regurgitate them, then you get the thing that approves from someone else telling you that you remembered the thing the right way. Okay, well, what's that mean? So you apply that to life, and you just, the more right things you do, the more money you get.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just curious how that got in there like that.
Yeah, I don't know how that got in there like that, but it's like, okay, well.
So you mean if you do wrong things, you don't make any money? What's a wrong thing versus a right thing?
So money's like a reward. It's like a dog bone.
But a lot of times people don't get that many rewards.
Well, you should, then you're doing it wrong. That's so it's like, okay, well, you do a good job. So for me, a good job is you have an idea in your mind.
Uh-huh.
You kind of set yourself out your goal. You make your little to-do list, and you check off all your things, and you feel that you've accomplished all your things. Therefore, you get reward because the amount of positive energy and feeling good that you've put into doing your thing and feeling accomplished about it, that amount of like happy projection energy kind of brings in the abundance.
Right.
It's like, but so it's like, so.
Right. No, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
That
so
makes
it's like,
sense.
So but that's how I'm like, that's what I'm thinking about it. Like when you're little and you're in like kindergarten and you're like kind of like color matching and then doing the thing and you're like doing good and you like, this person's good at playtime. You know what I mean? So you like.
The only problem with it is that if you don't feel like you're doing good, or if you don't feel like, because with you, a lot of times you don't feel like you're getting your to-do list done or you're checking yourself off, so you wouldn't get your reward. So that would be keeping abundance. That would be making you feel like then you'd be in lack and didn't deserve at that time because you didn't do what you needed to do.
Right.
Because if it's a reward, then you'd have to follow the rules of what.
Right.
And rules, whoever made those up, a lot of them are a bunch of crazy.
Right.
Well, I mean, we need certain rules.
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah.
But other ones are they're just people's opinions on stuff.
Right.
And most of the time they don't work. They're not working too well.
Yeah. That's just like my idea.
It's like coloring in the lines.
Yeah, it's true. Because like, who made those lines?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Like, what are those lines?
So that point is like, okay, so if you think like that, which is a good thing, meaning like you're giving yourself reward, but then you'd have to give yourself reward for the attempt.
Right.
Also.
Right.
So even if you weren't able to, because if we're always trying to do our best, then shouldn't we get an award for the attempt of doing our best?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like, no, I didn't accomplish that today. I'm still in the process of accomplishing it.
Right.
You didn't like throw it out the window. And even if you did throw it out the window because you realized that it wasn't something that you really wanted to do halfway through.
Right.
And I don't mean things you have to do. I'm talking about things that you're, trying to create, or that you went, okay, you know what, that may not work. I got to redo that design or do something else. But because you did that, that's how you got closer to where it was that you wanted to go.
Right. Yeah. That was just like a very loose.
Right, but what I'm saying is just in that, it's important because that's something that you do without realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're showing, like, so because in that theory, which is a great theory, like we get rewarded, but we need to get rewarded, like feeling good about ourselves, and the feeling good about ourselves that we're always trying to be better. Well, hopefully we're always trying to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't at this point, but
this makes a lot of sense though too, because I've been having a lot of not that I have money struggles, but it's more like different like jobs have been changing and people have been getting schedules mixed up and things have been happening where like in the past maybe in the past like 2 weeks or something, I've had
oh yeah, you did
a lot of changes come up where I'm not getting the right amount of income that I normally would have.
Yeah.
Not that I normally get anything in particular, but it's, I was like,
it flows easier.
It flows easier, so normally I'm expecting like X amount, and I'm not getting it because of just people having to change or scheduling things or things canceling or whatnot. So it's like, oh, okay, well, how am I going to pay for that thing? Oh, well, let's see, that's interesting. That'll happen somehow. But it always does. It's just, well, where? How?
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So you might need to look at the part where, because remember, everything's core issues now that's coming up that's in our face. So you might need to look at the fact that, because you'll say it a lot on here, like when we're talking about, like, because you have your right and left side over there that your body's, trying to
My
separate out
body's
physically.
my body's literally actually tearing itself apart at the moment.
Yeah,
like
it's like your right and left side are in a battle like everyone else is.
I currently have a right leg that is trying to detach itself from my body.
Well, that's what it feels like. Hopefully it's not actually trying to.
It is trying. It's trying to leave. My hip feels like my hip socket is burning and not working the right way, and it keeps wanting to.
You might want to have a talk with your hip socket. Like you do a little meditation and have a talk and ask it what's it trying to do, what's it there for.
I don't know, but
I'm saying to have one.
Yeah.
I know you don't know, but I'll find out. A lot of times when I'm having pains like that, I'll have a little, meditation talk with them and be like, okay, so what is this for? What are you trying to help me with? Because if we say everything is there to try to help us with something,
right.
try to, learn to try and help. And it could be, because hips have to do with moving forward. And a lot of times if we're talking about right, it's moving forward on the planet. Left is, more of a spiritual moving forward. Your legs and moving forward. Hips are all, with
right.
the legs.
And my balance is very bad on my right foot.
Because the balance is really perfect these days. We're in a real balanced time.
It's horrible. The right foot is really bad. Like I will teeter. Like if I'm like stepping onto my right and not being mindful, my balance goes over to the right, and I end up having to, and I like stumble and need to like get my footing back, and that happens a lot.
But you just said the perfect thing. If I'm not being mindful, which is being aware, and that's what we're talking about. Like awareness is the key to making the changes and to understand what's going on. And can we stay in that 24/7? Well, we're trying to, but there's a lot of things that are in our way to stay in, and that's why the slowing down is why it's important, because you actually get a lot more done.
Right.
And since you've had a little bit more time since things have been changing, what does that feel like, slowing down a little bit?
My body's having a chance to not feel like so tightly wound, I suppose is like a good thing. And I become more creative when I'm working on other people's things less. So if I have more time to myself to sit and like just let my thoughts roll in my head as opposed to applying myself to something that I'm helping another person create, I just come up with all these things that I would like to do and make and have ideas, and I feel a little more inspired when I have more alone time. So
what does that tell you about the fact that that's happening to show you something? Right. To me, when that happens, because I remember it was years ago that all of my clients got taken out for a week. Whether they got sick or, whatever. I don't remember what each one of them was. I just remember that all of them got taken out for a week because I was so ridiculous, like, with my time.
Right.
And I was so tired. And I was like, wow, like, that would pretty much be impossible to take everybody out for a week.
Well, this is interesting, too, is I had that happen to me with Tomorrow. So I had Tomorrow on hold for a different thing, and that thing fell through a couple days ago, and then my friend yesterday messaged me being like, hey, will you do a documentary with me?
Well, apparently you're supposed to do a documentary.
And I was like, oh, this is a person who I work with all the time in all of her music videos, and I do all of her hair and makeup for them, and I'm just like part of her whole thing. And she's like, you have to be in it, you're in all of my videos, and you have to do my hair and makeup, like I don't want to do it without you. And I normally would have been booked, and I was scheduled for a different photo shoot. So
you wouldn't have been able to do it.
I wouldn't have been able to do it.
So when we say, like, things, that's what I'm saying, like the extreme, because that would be like something that would be extreme in the positive department, like, like something that happened that was a nice thing, even though whatever the other thing you're working on will probably come back up. Is it rescheduled, or is it?
It was just a thing in the Catskills that was like a trade shoot thing that, it was just like a non-paying trade thing, which is fine sometimes, but I would have been sad to trade my time for a not money thing, knowing that I was missing a thing, for my friend.
Right. But the kind of nice thing about how it changed, and that then you were available, but you didn't book it for anything else because you didn't know until a couple days ago. So if you had that open, you would have been booked for something else.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, if I didn't think that I was working, I would have.
Right, there would have been something else in there.
Yes.
Because I know, like, I do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a free day, then I'm like, oh, okay, this day I could put these things in.
Right.
And then if something comes up, like that person letting you know a couple days before, what would be the thing that you couldn't do? You already have stuff in there. So
you know who else is crazy? Wallace.
I know.
Who's barking at everyone. He wants to
Mm-hmm.
jump through the door. I can hear him. You might be able to hear him too.
Yeah. He definitely is. Well, the animals are too. Like,
oh yeah.
and what's with the chipmunk epidemic? Like, there's chipmunks everywhere. We live, like, I think now it's Chipmunk City at our house.
Yeah, I just saw a squirrel run by. Wow, Wallace.
Wow, Wallace, you really. Wallace doesn't know if he was supposed to be a guide dog. He thinks he's a guard dog.
He's not good at eating. He's good at being cute and squishy.
Yeah, well, that's a good job. Cute and squishy's a good job.
And warm.
But
he's more coffee table like than anything, I think.
He's adorable. We'll have to put a picture up of Wallace so people can see him. He's really cute.
Yeah.
But his guard dog is working just fine. His guide dog is a little off.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of I'm seeing it with a lot of animals, and I was kind of laughing about it because with our cousin getting a dog, and her dog is similar to like Wallace, where it's
right.
like there's something that's a little bit off, and then we're seeing like we've had dogs for years, and you got a dog from the pound or wherever you got it because we always rescue dogs,
right?
And they were perfectly fine, got along with everybody. It was and then we get Wallace, and Wallace is needs extra care and attention. And then she gets this dog and needs extra care and attention. Like, what's going on with the dog?
Right, like they need to go to trainers and be like taught to be like chill and like.
Right, they're all stressed out. They're all
they are all stressed out.
They don't know what their job is. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They're like, okay, it's like all the people.
Right.
Like, yeah, if you look at the animals outside too, that's why we're like. What happened?
A squirrel ran out 3 seconds before we were going by it, and it committed suicide. It didn't know. It was just like, I'm out. And then,
I was gonna say, I call them suicidal squirrels because they do that, and I'm like, why are you doing that?
Oh my god, I don't know.
When was that?
On the way to the bank.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
It was really bad.
No, that makes you feel bad.
James was like, actually turned around to drive by to make sure that it was.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, oh my god, why did it do that? What's wrong? Why did it do that? Let me turn around and make sure I don't need to run it over again. I'm like, oh my god, what? He's like, you can't be suffering. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, no, I get the gist on that, but that makes you feel bad. It's like the suicidal squirrels.
Yeah, Wallace is at the door now trying to get in.
Yeah, the suicidal squirrels. You're like, why did you do that? That's horrible. And it's like, and why'd you have to do that to me?
Yeah.
Somebody else who could handle suicidal squirrels.
Yeah.
Apparently he had a issue on the planet like everyone else and he's trying to get out.
Right.
It was like, oh, here comes a car. We'll just run.
Yeah.
I hate that. That's really...
No reaction time either. Like, ran out, pretty much ran out under the car.
Yeah, the problem is, though, with animals doing that is that the reaction time, if you have one, you can get in a bad accident because you react.
Right.
And you gotta be really careful because our first thing is to try to miss them, and then the next thing you know, you're hitting a car or hitting a pole or hitting a tree.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit scary, but I'm glad that everyone was okay except for the poor squirrel who's
he wanted that. He wouldn't have done that if he didn't want it.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess he was okay. I'm out.
I mean, he really did it.
He
right.
really did it he timed it perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, squirrels don't normally run under the car.
No.
They usually try to get out in front, away from you.
It was a reincarnated suicidal man that was just put into that squirrel body right then and was just like, let me try it again.
Probably not. So if I said to you, if
everyone's weird, there's a car driving really slow on the street now.
Is there?
Yeah. It's just everyone's weird.
I'm telling you, we live in Looney Tune time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Acme's a thing. The company Acme, and they have all the anvils, from Looney Tunes. With
Are you sure
Wile E.
you're saying
Coyote.
that name right?
Isn't it Acme? ACME?
I
Yeah.
don't. Is it?
Yeah, didn't Wile E. Coyote get all of his bombs and his anvils and he jumped
Right.
from Acme?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like Wile E. Coyote in the Roadrunner,
Yeah.
where you keep getting blown up and the anvil hits you in the head, and you're only trying to get some food.
Right. I saw this great meme that was a cartoon of Wile E. Coyote paying Sonic the Hedgehog, and Sonic was holding the Roadrunner.
Yes, we need more things to laugh
That's
at.
funny. I was like, that's hilarious. It says money gets things done. That's what it was.
That's funny. But we do. We need more things. We need more things that we laugh at, more time that we have fun.
Mhm.
Because since we're in Looney Tune Land anyway, shouldn't we make it fun?
Right.
I mean, when you were in Disney, did you have fun?
It was wonderful.
Now, why did you have fun? Because you were playing.
Yeah, it was playtime.
Because you went to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what was the place that you liked the best? What was the?
As in, what
Yeah, what kinds of
attractions?
things? Yeah, which ones? Because I liked Epcot.
I mean, all the parks are wonderful. Animal Kingdom.
I haven't been there yet.
Animal Kingdom is awesome. Animal Kingdom is actually the largest park on Disney property.
Oh, really? I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, they have an awesome new ride. That is the Avatar
Oh, nice.
land. Yeah. Oh my God, it's magical.
And then you went to Universal and went to Harry Potter Land.
Yes, Harry Potter land is so good. The Harry Potter.
But do you see, like, those are all fun.
Mm-hmm.
And what's fun about those is, what's the world that's Avatar? Because that's like the
Pandora.
Yeah, that's like the fifth dimension world. They all are. How do they talk?
Yeah, through the mind.
Through their minds and their empath, they feel each other.
Right.
In the tree of life, and that's
Right.
a metaphor for the changes that we're going through. And Harry Potter's about good versus evil.
Right.
And the magic that the world is.
Right.
So those are very appropriate for the things that are happening now in our world.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting, they have a lot of fans.
They do, yeah.
They're very popular.
A lot of people like that, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people like them. And there's a good reason why, because it's like what's the thing that happens at the end of all of those? The thing that we really want to happen. Good overcomes the evil.
Yeah, true.
And there's some crazy stuff that happens, and when we look at those worlds, it's like, wow, there's pictures that are talking to you and moving, and
Mm-hmm.
Floors that move, and all kinds of magic happens, and so when you think about that, it's like, what's actually happening in this world? Because we never believed that those things are real.
Right.
But the things that are disappearing and coming back, and the way people are acting, and we're in like Looney Tune land, those seem like they're more real
Mm-hmm.
than people ever thought. And because there's a lot more going on.
Right. Well, how do you know where you are then in that?
What do you mean?
Like, well, if they're...
Well, that's the problem.
Right.
We don't at this moment. That's why we feel like we're actually switching all over the place. So it's like feel like we're being like in the third dimension, and the fourth dimension, and the fifth dimension, and then you're getting ripped out of each one, and you don't even know where the hell you are.
What happens in each dimension?
Well, the third was the one where we used to be in. The fourth is where you're in between, and the fifth is the one that we're trying to get to. That's the one that's where we're going to be able to see things, create them way easier, talk more with the empathic, telepathic. That's the colors there are more vibrant. It's very light. It has a very much lighter energy.
Mm-hmm.
It feels wonderful. Like
I feel like things feel like larger there, like bigger space. Like
there's a lot of
clearer.
space.
Yeah.
It's clearer. It's funny because there's plenty of people, but you don't feel them the same way because it feels nicer. And when you talk to each other, it's telepathic, empathic way more than it is with work, like talking like we talk. But
I feel like in my mind's eye, like when I'm seeing it, it looks a lot lighter in the amount of brightness is like turned up or something.
Yeah, no, it's very bright. It's very pretty. Like the colors are like colors that are more vibrant than we have here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the color spectrum is like maybe like wider. I think it like feels like you can see the wavelengths. Like you're seeing like the wider wavelength and the shorter wavelength on like either side, like a little more.
Yeah, no,
or
absolutely.
Something.
Yeah, you could see it. I'm glad you could picture it because it's And now we're able to go over there. So I'm doing that a lot with the exercises of, like bringing people over there. Because it's not like we couldn't go over there before, but we couldn't stay. But now it's trying to, like, be able to stay there more and kind of get grounded and balanced there.
Right. Like, I feel like just me thinking about it and talking about it right now, if I was in that headspace all the time and, like, being able to come from that perspective.
And feel the possibilities there.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah, everything's possible.
Yeah, it's like the possibilities and the amount of ease that it is to get things done. If I could stay in that and apply it to what's happening here and not let myself get knocked out from under me there, like, it's like, it feels like it's like there's like a strength and, like, power and protection in, like, it's almost like wearing like an armor bubble.
It is. And that's why in doing that, and we'll do the exercise, but it is. And being able to see that and know that that's there, and they've always showed it to me as like this little bridge that you just crossed over, but you couldn't cross it, you couldn't stay there unless you got rid of all of your junk, like you can't live there with wearing the backpack,
I can't live there with my right hip attached.
No, you could live there with your right hip attached. It's you're still doing work. Every place we go, we're doing higher levels and different things. But it's like certain things that we're working on that we have to overcome to be able to live there. And that's part of what we're doing, which is more from coming from a more loving place, being more open, being more caring, being more kind to ourselves, especially, and then to others, because if you're kinder to yourself, then you're kinder to others. We do it backwards, I think, sometimes. Like, we think if we're kinder to others, but then we don't really think about ourselves, and then we feel like aren't cared about or not important, or that people are taking advantage of us. And that's part of what's going on. Like, everyone's so sick and tired.
Right. Well, the people that think, it makes me nuts that people think they're being taken advantage of, because, I mean, chances are, yes, some people are not intentionally taking advantage of others, not knowing that they're doing it, and then the other people are like, oh, that person just did this thing, like, bleh. But then to have everyone assume that what everyone else is doing is, you know what I mean? I think the perception is weird, because not every single person is trying to take advantage, so why?
As a matter of fact, most people aren't.
Right, yeah.
And they don't even know that that's what you're thinking, and that's how you're feeling.
Right.
And that's part of when we talk about, like, our own world, the way that we perceive things, and we perceive them like that for a reason, to help us to overcome it. But unless you can understand and step back and be like, okay, so what is really going on here? And what you have to do with it. Because a lot of times we go out of our way and help people and feel like they're taking advantage of us, when it's actually us that's actually going out of our way and no one even asked for our help. Like, we could actually make it seem like that by the stuff that we're doing. And we do it a lot with a bunch of things, or think that we have to go do that when nobody actually even asked.
Right.
And if somebody does ask, we can say no if we can't.
Right.
Like, I know it's hard sometimes to say no if somebody really needs you, but if you're just as, pushed up against the wall and don't have the energy or time to do it, then you might have to say no, because that's the best thing for you. And it's the same things, like, in that moment, if you have to say no. It doesn't mean every moment, it means in that moment.
Yeah, because they'll just ask another person. The other person could probably help.
Right, and that's why it's important for us to be able to realize that a lot of the times people aren't doing that. They're they're not trying to take advantage of you. They might be asking for help, and some people get used to asking the same people because they'll keep doing it. So it's like you're setting yourself up. If you always say yes,
that's their person that they prefer to help.
Yeah.
Prefer to have help.
Right, but if that's the person you prefer, but the person starts to get resentful because it feels like they're not getting anything in return, then it's like, okay, what the hell?
Right. Yeah.
They're not doing anything for me, but they don't even know that because we didn't tell them in any way, and then we start getting mad. We're like, well, no, I can't, no. So it's really important to see your perception.
And then the other person would be like, well, why is that person getting mad? That's weird. Like, I didn't even do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't know that they felt like they were taking advantage of somebody. Because, like, well, they always seem like they want to help. And they'll say stuff like that. Well, if you need me, I'm here, I'll help you. But you're not really talking about how it makes you feel if you keep doing it, to the degree, or how much you can do, or, there's a lot of stuff that goes into our perception about something. But those are the setups that happen every day, all the time. And when you say, like, what's real and what isn't, most of the time it's not real. And that's when I say, like, the illusion is very good. It feels like that, but that's not actually what's happening. Most people aren't trying to take advantage of you. Are there people? Absolutely. But for the most part, and even those people, you could see that very clearly.
Right.
You know, and that's where your no comes in. But it takes a little bit of time, but it actually takes knowing yourself a little bit more and understanding how other people work so you can understand how you work. So very interesting. And yes, I'm still working on that class. I've been so busy. I got a bunch of new clients on top of, you know, trying to put classes together.
Right.
And doing a lot of research because of this imbalance and stuff, and looking at a bunch of things with imbalances. Hormone imbalances and all different kinds of things. So I really want to do that. And the part of that class is doing the fifth dimension exercise, which brings people over to the fifth dimension.
And I think also too that might help with like brain cloudiness.
No, it does. It's very clear over there. It's easy. And whenever I do, because when I do a client, or that's part of, you know, in the first couple of sessions, we usually end up there, like an exercise that we need to do, and it feels so much better there.
Right.
But then they know how to get there, and they know, you know, to practice, you know, staying there and working on, because it's so much easier there. You know, it feels easier. Now we end up back here, and we kind of go back and forth, because that's kind of what we're doing right now. The extremes is we're going through the change so that we could, you know, kind of live there. And not everybody will, you know, like as we separate out, some people will move to that dimension, others will not. It's okay. But the point being is that that's available now. And there's times when we get over there and things feel like easier and it's more possible. And that's when you were talking about your right side and left side.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're in your left side, you feel like that place. It's like, oh, that's where I am. It's more like I'm in the fifth dimension.
Right.
And then it's like when I'm in the other side, it feels like I'm more in the lower fight. There's no, you know, nothing's possible. Everything hurts. It's painful. It's hard.
Right.
It's like the side that's trying to get away, the leg that's trying to break off.
Oh, it's so true. My right side is definitely fighting itself.
Right. So just in you looking at that, then it gives you like, okay, how do we? And that's what we're saying. Like there's a separation that's happening.
Down to my earrings on my right side.
Right, which is
I had to take them my whole right ear with all the different things I have. I've never had an infection or an issue with any piercing ever, and they all had to come out. They're all messed up and crazy.
And that would be insane.
Yeah, and they're old. I've had those since I was 16 at least.
Right. So you're like, okay, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, what the hell? Because that's the imbalance. It's like your side's like, you are like a perfect example of how we're actually imbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like one side is totally off, and the other side's totally off compared to it. You know, it's like,
right.
But they're doing, one feels so much better, the other one's like trying to leave, trying to change, and hopefully it's working on changing so it's more like the blending in with the left side. You know, like you're letting go of baggage and stuff, and it's coming out on the way that it's showing in you as the separation is through one side versus the other.
Mm-hmm.
But for everybody, you know, that's why you got to go easy on yourself, because this change and this crazy is not going anywhere for, you know, quite a while. We're in the middle of it, and it's going to get, you know, lighter, and it's going to get heavier, and it's going to be all over the place. But we need to take care of ourselves and know that, you know, and please do the grounding exercise. It's really important, and put that pillar, or make sure you, you know, like put the light inside of you so that you're not picking up as much, and go slow. Like, take your time. The more that you take your time, the more that you see, the more that you're aware. Mindfulness is the key to us being able to understand, like, what we're seeing, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry if it's crazy. It's going to be crazy. You know, like, we forget things. We can't figure out the words. You know, people say that
we couldn't math.
No, we couldn't math at all the other day. I know math didn't work. It stopped mathing.
Yeah.
Math didn't work.
No. I don't math that well. I mean, some depends.
I math very well.
It depends what I don't math after dark, just on principle. But normally if I'm good at like algebra. I was good at like, you know, that type of thing.
Yes, but adding and subtracting is not that hard.
I was having a big problem with my like.
Yeah. Well, that was where it was even funnier was that when you brought it to me, I'm like, this doesn't work. Like, and we're talking about adding and subtracting. Apparently, numbers aren't working today. They're off.
Oh my god, that was so dumb.
It was hysterical because I'm very good at adding and subtracting. Like, I mean, like, doing those types of things.
It was weird because, like, we would add.
We would do it 5 different ways, and it would come out 5 different numbers. And it would be and I've done this so many times that I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. When you add this thing and then you do it backwards, it should come out to the same thing. How is it coming out $20 or $15 or $10 or $5? I'm like,
so weird.
And it would keep changing. I'm like, this is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. I'm like, you know what? wherever we are, math doesn't work right now.
Yeah.
It's fine. You know what? It's you know what? At this point, put it away. Maybe math works tomorrow.
Which is a good maybe metaphor for what's happening in the world, is because what you think should work is actually not working.
It's not. No, there's a lot of things that do not work the same way they did before.
Right.
And that's why it's really important. And for math to not work, which would be like, the universe is math, and the idea of, it's like, wow. I mean, adding and subtracting, it was, pretty straightforward. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of...
some weird phenomenon happening.
Yeah, but there was some weird phenomena, because we did it how many times, and it came out different all the time.
Whichever combination of ways we decided to, like, add and subtract this particular thing that I was working on was, it should have been the same number backwards and forwards, in the middle upside down. It should just have worked.
Yeah, no, it's very simple. It was very simple. Like, okay, you add these up. Okay, you subtract this. Okay, it was very simple. It was not.
Weird.
It was doing some weird stuff, and no matter how many different ways, it would be a different number. You'd keep getting the same number backwards as you'd get a same number forwards, but you couldn't figure out why, because they shouldn't have been different.
Yeah, it should have been interchangeable.
It should have been interchangeable. It was so weird. Still haven't figured out what the weird. Oh, the only thing that I figured out was apparently you can't math today. Math is not working.
Yeah.
And because I know that with the way things are in the world, like, things aren't working the way they used to, so it's fine. So we don't do that right now. We could do certain parts of it, but if it's not working that much, and we may have to work it a little bit different then, and it's okay. It's perfectly fine. But when you get so stressed about it, because that could be stressful. It's like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Because you think you're doing something wrong.
Right.
I'm like, no, I don't really think I do math wrong. I'm like, for whatever's happening, and for whatever, we can't see, or whatever it is, it's fine. And if we can't do it today, we'll have to try it again tomorrow. If it don't math right tomorrow, well, all right. I guess we'll have to figure out what to use then. Which one of those numbers looks good? Pick one. And that's where I was like, okay, we're putting this aside now. So for everybody, I hope you're having... what is the week? I think Halloween's next week. So hopefully I get the podcast out by the weekend, because I think today's Wednesday. And it's been an extra tired day. It was really rainy. We had a big storm last night, so it was really rainy. It's been extra tired. So we're talking about being extra tired.
The wind knocked some nice heavy thing onto my car. It was very good. Yeah,
so just for those little shits and giggles, just for more little gremlin shit.
Yep.
It's like one more thing to do when you.
Yeah.
So for everyone, that's where you want to stay, like, in the lighter energy, and know that for all that crazy shit that's going on, there's lots of good things that are going on. So we want to see more of those. We want to spend more time in the gratitude and be thankful, and that's where the mindfulness and the awareness comes in. Like, look for those. There's way more of them than we think, because those other ones seem so big.
Right.
And they're they can take up your whole time in your day, but there's a lot of other ones that are really good that are happening. A lot of positives, and we can't see them because they don't hit us the same way as the negatives do. And boy, those negatives can be, like, extremely big pains in the asses, and they keep. That's why I think I called the last one, and the hits just keep coming. Our last podcast, because it just doesn't stop.
Right.
I think I called it Holy Moly. The hits just keep coming because it doesn't stop.
Right.
So I'm working on the class to get us all over to the higher dimension, so you could actually know that. And which is in a spiritual development. But if there's any classes that you'd like us to be working on, or that's important to you, or the things that you're going through, like we said, email us at mylana@gmail.com. Also, it would be nice if you subscribe to the podcast and write a review, so that the more people, from what I understand, the more people that write reviews and subscribe, then it gets higher, so more people could find us. So I would like to reach as many people so that they understand what's going on. They don't feel alone in the world. It's very difficult out there when you're feeling alone, like you're the only person, and that this is crazy, because I hear that from a lot of people when they come in. It's like, no, I feel like this, and most people don't want to talk about it to the degree that they're feeling it. I'm like, no, that's everybody.
Right.
I see.
Even the animals.
Right. I see so many people, talk to so many people, and that's how everyone's feeling. And if someone's not going through something, I've not seen it. I've not heard it. Like, I don't know anyone who's not going through something that's major and a bunch of minors with some majors,
Right.
So, as we say at the end of our podcast, and hopefully we'll see you, we'll see you. I say that every single time. We will not see you. Yet again, you will hear us.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we'll hear you. No, you will hear us. I say this every single time. And how do we end it all?
Toodles.
Toodles. Everyone have a wonderful rest of your day.